I'm only seeing it on the main stream. I think you may be. Yeah, yes, if you can hear me, I think you're not sharing the right monitor on Discord. Oh, he's not. I think he's muted. Okay, well, it looks like he's getting started, so we may have to watch on the actual stream.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up.
Okay, I've got it muted too. All right, so Battle Garegga, a definitely classic. Oh, I see he's using the rank emote. So, how do you even start with Battle Garegga?
I mean, it's arcade shmup from 1996. It is probably among the most iconic and enduring games of the genre. Just really, really fun, has impeccable audio visual, and it does a lot of really cool stuff. So right now, stage 1, he's mainly powering up. He's any of the small planes that he destroys. They're popcorn enemies, and every 5 or so that he destroys, they'll drop a power-up item. So the small brown icons, the circular ones, those power up his main shot. The green ones give him these little side option drones. Options are really, really cool in this game because you can press a button in order to switch them into different formations. Right now, he has them in just this standard spread formation where they're shooting off to the sides to give him a little bit of extra coverage. But he can also swap them around to focus on forward fire or aim them in different directions. His main shot, playing, yes.
I was just saying, you'll also notice, I guess we'll get to that a little later, he's not picking up every single thing that drops, as you might expect. But we'll get to that.
No, I mean, the nice thing about this game is that since power-up...
And the first death there, but that was intentional.
Yeah. Yeah, the nice thing about this game is that since power-up items are really, really common, he doesn't have to worry about picking up every single one. He can just pick them up as he needs them. And so, right now...
First secret here?
Oh, yeah. If you bomb the castle, you can release these pink flamingos and continue bombing them for a whole lot of scores. So even though he lost a life at the beginning of the stage, he's already gotten it back from that scoring trick.
Every 1 million points will give you an extra life. And in addition, dying lowers the difficulty of the game, which has kind of got a dynamic difficulty in its rank. But dying will lower that, and then also give you some bombs back. So it's that's kind of the gameplay loop that works in this game.
Yeah, and the other nice thing about this game is that there isn't a hard cap on the number of extra lives that you can get. You simply get one every 1 million points, and you can't carry more than 5 at a time. But if he does take a hit unintentionally, in the early game, it's usually not a big deal as long as he doesn't drop his metal chain. Because if he can reach that next 1 million point extend, he'll just get the extra life back.
That's kind of what makes this game so good, is the less lives you have, the more the difficulty drops. So it's like you may be having a bad run and you die a lot, but as long as you keep going, the game is then easier. Whereas conversely, you can stack up lives and have a whole lot of it, of a safety net, but then the game's going to be a bit harder.
Yeah, I mean, on some level, it's okay to make mistakes. What matters more is that you're not making too many mistakes in rapid succession.
Yes. And
So
you're going to talk about this ship in particular and how the shot works.
Oh, yes. So the ship he's playing is Wild Snail, and the thing that makes Wild Snail very special, it's easily the most powerful ship to play just if you want to make it through to the end of the game. And the reason why is because its main shot is incredibly powerful. The center bullet that the ship fires out. This is a little spicy.
Not sure if that one was intentional, but it's oh yeah, he just got his next extend. So and here's the next secret. Doing pretty good meddling here. Carried his metal chain into stage 3.
Yes. But the center shot that the ship fires actually has a piercing property. It will travel through anything that it hits. And because of this, it turns out to be incredibly powerful, and it just does mega damage to basically everything throughout the game. So with Wild Snail, he can destroy bosses, enemies much faster than pretty much any other ship. And that helps a whole lot.
That was a nice grab right there. The hitbox is actually a pretty reasonably small in this game. It's not the entire ship. It's pretty notable for an early game like this, or an older game like this. But yeah, you can do some pretty crazy dodging, as you just saw.
Yeah, it's not like a single pixel like some later bullet hell ours. I think it's like a 6-pixel square for this particular ship. It's oriented a little vertically, so it does have some height to it, but it's pretty thin. So since most of the enemy fire is coming from above, you can actually squeeze through quite a bit.
Speaking of the thin bullets, that's one thing most people will notice the first time when they play this game is the bullets can be pretty hard to see, as they're very thin. They're kind of a flat color. This is something that was changed in the PS4 port of the PS4 and Xbox One port of the game. You can actually change the bullet color, which, by the way, if anybody wants to play it, I highly recommend either of those two ports by M2.
Yeah, I'd say the port of this game on the PS4 and Xbox One, in my humble opinion, is the best game on those particular systems.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah, it's very, very good, and it also has a lot of extra game modes that you can play that mix things up and are just really fun.
He's currently picking apart. Oh yeah, go ahead.
This mid-boss, he's intentionally keeping it alive. He's destroyed the 2 side hatches, and he's going to kill it after it reaches this square here. Now he's going to go for it, and destroying it now gives you an extra life, which is pretty useful.
And you notice the large medals. If you consecutively grab the medals, they basically increase in score value all the way up to 10,000. So as long as he continues to grab them, they'll stay like that. And that's one of the big ways to score in this game.
Yes.
But on to boss 3. This one's pretty fun. Do a little bit of dodging here.
Yeah, Earth Crisis is an interesting boss. He made it through this first phase pretty well. He's going to clean things up. But basically, this boss, there's a certain order that you can take the different parts out in order to make the boss easier, or you can just YOLO it, which it looks like he's doing now. And I believe that was intentional.
Possibly. Either way, it doesn't make too big of a difference. So, which is a good thing about this game. Well, there was
it doesn't matter.
I think he might have been a little late on that first one, but he's at a good rank now, so he's in a good place. Streams.
Yeah. 2 lives heading into stage 4 with minimal rank is really, really good. So he's on track. So stage 4, we've seen it a couple of times in stage 2 and stage 3, but a running theme in the early stages of the game is that if you use your bomb on certain parts of the scenery, you can get bonus metal drops and also bonus points. And so we're going to see that here in just a minute in stage 4. There are going to be these 5 horizontal pipes up on the right. He's going to bomb those, and they're going to give him 2 medals a pop. which is a lot of points all at once. If he wants to, he can bomb this shaft to the right as well for another 4 medals. Looks like he's not going for it. But there are these little secrets that you can do that are very, very lucrative if you have a full medal chain. And it's just all in all a really fun time. I personally really like the concept of medaling because it's a really nice incentive to keep moving around the screen. And yeah, you can bomb all those and get... That was 1 bomb for 16 medals at 10k a pop, so very, very lucrative.
A little bit of a rough death there, but he managed to save his metal chain, so probably worth it. These big green tanks, we'll see if he does that. If you take all the treads off of them, they drop a full bomb icon. Yeah, he got... Oh, it looked like he got that one, but I guess he killed it just too fast. He gets a... It's a couple full bombs, which is very helpful, especially for the next stage. Well, I guess you can get a lot anyway. Well, now, will he be bombing the rails? That's one of the harder parts. I suspect that he won't. That's one of the more technical parts. I've only been able to do it a couple times myself.
Yeah, I think if he were to go for it, it'd be naught but sadness for the rest of the run.
Yeah.
He'd basically be guaranteed to drop the metal chain unless he really knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Just very, very small margin of error on that.
Now coming up. One of my favorite bosses here, Satanic Surfer. That's one thing I wanted to mention about this game is how you can dismantle and just slowly pick apart the parts on the bosses. This one in particular has so many little parts that just changes how the boss acts and functions that really fun to pick apart. He just, of course, goes for the speed kill. Ooh, on to his last life. A little bit scary, but he's got an extend on the way, and he's got completely bottomed out rank. But he can definitely recover here. Kind of the refueling stage, the last stop before the game really takes the gloves off.
Hi guys.
Yeah. Yeah, so stage 5 is very, very long. It has this iconic background among the clouds. The first song of the game is Fly to the Leaden Sky. Well, this is the Leaden Sky. We've made it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of a carrier rush.
Yeah, the flying platforms, there are 3 sets. There's a set of 3 that move slowly that were, this is the 3rd one. Afterwards, it'll be followed by a set of 6 flying platforms that scroll through the screen very quickly. And finally, a set of 2 flying platforms that come in from the side simultaneously.
And you'll notice oh yeah, yeah, he's triggered the homing power up and has 4 options now.
Yeah, he's also upgraded his shot power to max. So before he was sandbagging the game in order to keep things fairly reasonable. At this point, there's no reason for him to continue doing so because things are going to get very, very difficult very, very quickly, and he's going to want all the power he can get.
Especially with the rank management and keeping the difficulty so low, he has no reason not to just go full all out.
Yeah, he's in a really good spot right now as far as resources and power goes. Rank is reasonably low, and he is definitely in a spot to just keep up with the power curve throughout the rest of the game. And he still has the full metal chain. He'll pretty easily hit the 5 million extend.
Let's see, will he keep homing on Nose Laughing here? I like to switch off homing for a little bit extra control, but I could see wanting to keep it.
I agree with that. I generally swap off homing right about now just because what the homing options are doing right now is they're targeting the wing turrets on the propellers, and that activates these spreads that can be a little tricky to dodge from the propeller turrets. He handled that really, really well.
Yeah, with Golden Bat being so strong, it's like you don't have to worry about it quite as much because you just, oh, that was probably not intentional there. I would have definitely bombed that, but he's still going. He's got full bomb stock, so he can just kind of bully his way through and get an extend here.
Yeah, the spitting Vulcan pattern from the Madball boss is somewhat infamous. among new players of the game because it's almost a fixed pattern, but it's modulated by the movement of the boss, so there isn't a consistent way.
I don't like trying to dodge it. If I got bombs, I'm going to bomb it.
Yeah, now the nice thing about it is that you only have to make it through that spread pattern once, and then there's a consistent safe spot that you can hide in the top left corner of the screen. But unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it through that first wave, which is understandable. It's pretty tough.
Yeah, and that's probably the one maybe downside of Golden Baddies, is a little bit slower.
Yeah.
Barely making it through there, but very nice getting around that spread.
Yeah, so with this mid-boss, he's intentionally leaving 5 bomb fragments on the side here. That way, when he destroys the mid-boss, they'll fall, and the next option that he picks up will activate the secret homing formation, which will increase his damage per second quite a lot in the next stage.
Yeah, and that and the coverage, because you just so much coming at you. But now we're up onto one of the best bosses in any shmup, Blackheart.
Yeah, this guy's iconic and very, very different from all the previous bosses in the game. Every boss prior to this has had a lot of parts which you can dismantle. That's not what this boss is. This boss has fixed patterns or he attacks in a fixed order. Many of his attacks can draw from any random patterns.
Sorry, which kind of game are you talking about?
Hey, we're doing a live thing right now. Don't mind.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, so he basically, based on his health, he will go through different sets of patterns. This first one's not too bad, but you do still see the infamous Finder.
Yeah, gosh, he made it through that fight really, really quickly, really, really cleanly. That's very much demonstrating the power of Wild Snail's piercing shot. We didn't even get to talk about Winding Vulcan, the most iconic attack that the guy has. It's just so fast.
And in that first fight, it's not so bad. You have plenty of room to move around. But hopefully he'll make it to Blackheart 2, and then we'll get to see the real deal.
Yeah.
So he lost it, but then he got it back. That's a little quirk. Oh, and then he lost it again. That's kind of a quirk of the meddling system.
And then he got it back again. Oh, and then he lost it again. Wow.
Yeah.
That's okay. Stage 6 is very chaotic, and so at this point, meddling is no longer a concern. Just raw was.
It's unless you're going for some super high scores, it's not worth the risk trying to go out of your way to get the medal. Now it's full on survival. Oh, and at some point he did trigger special power level, as 5 bullets now, or 6. You actually see when he did that.
He triggered special. That's by dropping 5 small shot power up icons in a row and then picking up the 6th. And another thing that he's done that's a little more subtle is that he has raised his auto fire rate from 10 hertz to 12 hertz, and that's just for a little bit of extra power because the game is getting harder, and being able to kill stuff efficiently is going to allow him to control a lot more of what's going on the screen and just take it through. This is the infamous turret wall.
Yes, both literally and figuratively, the wall.
Made it through there quite nicely. You can always bomb. Wild Snail's bomb does a lot of damage. And it's reasonably good at protecting you, although it's a little unreliable at times. In this particular section, being able to set up homing options is a big deal, but since he already has it, he doesn't have to stress out about that, which is quite nice.
It's doing really great right now. This game, it's hard to express exactly how difficult this game can be. There's just so much happening at all times, on top of the mental game of balancing your power, your options. It's a tough game, but he's handling it great right now, in a pretty good place. Lots of bombs, 1 extra life with another life on the way. It's looking good.
Yeah, so for this section of the stage, there are a lot of tanks that spawn out of these hatches on the side that he just needs to be very mindful of, and a really good way of handling things is to camp one of the tank spawn hatches in order to destroy them immediately, while letting your homing options give you covering fire and take care of stuff for the rest of the screen.
And then by flying directly over the tanks, it'll seal them, which prevents them from shooting.
Yeah, that does raise the difficulty, but it's definitely worth doing it in order to keep yourself safe, as long as you don't do it too much.
Making good use of his bombs, still has plenty in stock.
Yeah, a nice thing about this stage is that since there are tanks everywhere, each and every single round an enemy in the game drops a bomb fragment, and so he's easily able to make back any ammo that he uses. And nice dodge on that missile there. And he really does want to stock up for the rest of the game, because especially the last bosses are quite difficult. He's going to go for
the sprite ceiling.
Yeah, so this section's very, very difficult. Normally, he got it. He wants the bomb here to get out of there, but that was really, really good. Basically, he did a sprite overload in order to keep a third large tank from spawning there. Because if it does, it's very easy for the screen to get crowded out and just get overwhelmed. So he
successfully
handled that.
Making it through the gauntlet that is stage 6 without dying, and on to the stage 6 boss, Junkie Monkey. Very fun boss, but also can be very stressful.
This boss is just a spaghetti monster. It doesn't look so bad until you try playing it, and then you discover all the many creative ways that things can go horribly wrong.
I prefer to just bomb this first phase. There's just too much going on. Yeah, and that's what he's going to do. It's static, so there is pretty reliable ways to get through there, but in a high stress situation, it's probably not worth the risk. Yep, and he's just going to bomb phase 2.
Yeah, he's also raised his auto fire rate to 15 hertz, which is the max DPS that you can achieve in the game. So he's just no longer holding back in any way, shape, or form. He's just going full blitzkrieg in order to make it through to the end of the game before he gets overwhelmed himself.
But with the homing options, special level, and with Golden Bat here, and as you see, Junkie Monkey just falls over.
Yeah, really, really cleanly handled. You always love to see a no-miss stage 6. And on to the final level. So this first section of the actual stage portion of the level is a brief reprieve. It's not nearly as chaotic, but you still have to stay on your toes because you can get overwhelmed.
Nerves are running high at this point of the game. And the stuff can come at you pretty quick, and it puts you in especially for this next section after these turrets, it's a little bit of a squeeze, but there's ways to get through it reliably, especially if you have homing.
The trick with this next section is to take out these small front turrets that shoot the 3-bullet spreads as quickly as possible, because they're close and they can crowd you out really, really easily. Other than that,
barely getting through, but he makes it. Yeah, you can just kind of sweep up under the bullets, and you got plenty of room to get those first down. Yeah. All right, just making it look easy getting through there, and on to a little bit of a final breather. Yeah,
power up as much as he wants. He's at full power though, so he doesn't need to bother with it so much. And finally, on to the last bosses. It's time to talk about Blackheart 2. He set himself up. Set himself up resource-wise as well as we could have possibly hoped. 2 lives and 4 bombs going into this fight is really, really good.
Sub 40% rank, pretty good for Golden Bat.
Yeah.
Here we go. Interesting choice. Keeping homing. I don't know if I would do that, but we'll see how it works out for him.
Yeah, I generally prefer the off-spread cover of just the default shot to homing. But the thing about homing is that if you can get it to lock on to the core, like some of them are right now, you can do mega damage to the boss. But
Blackheart getting a little bit low there on that part's usually not too bad to dodge, but it got way down there and squeezed those bullets together, so he put out a bomb. And yeah, this is another nasty pattern. Here's the winder. Can he do it? Nope, he's not even gonna risk it. He tried to get around but wasn't quite fast enough.
Yeah, that's why I generally don't like doing that. I think the Blackheart want to try and dodge the winder, so that you can do a lot of damage point blank. He was still able to do that using a bomb as cover to fire.
And as you see
really
the power
good.
of Golden Bat just crushing Blackheart.
Yeah. Yeah, so one death, mini bombs used, that's actually totally fine. And he's got his fourth option back, so
But
now it's time for the final boss.
Yep, the final boss. It's not over yet. Glow Squid, not quite as hard as Blackheart 2, but still not a pushover by any means. Gonna do these 3 sets of patterns, repeating until he gets to a certain damage threshold. Oh, a pretty nasty overlap there.
Oh yeah. No, this is pretty good. Yeah, he's handling those patterns. The third pattern, the overlap.
Man. And hold on just a little bit more. He's gonna get that extend. There he goes. He's got the extend. Oh, very, very good set of this boss. What it will do is it'll put out a random set of turrets, and he got a very good setup of just aimed missiles and destructible bullets.
Yeah, so this is a good opportunity to do a lot of damage while he can before the boss pulls out another random turret that might not be nearly as tough.
Lightning replacing the missile, another one that's not bad at all. All right, here comes.
Laser can be mean.
Oh, okay. This can be a little bit spicy, but okay. No, he made it through. He killed us very fast. Now on to the final. Glow Squid 2. Here we go. Make or break.
Yeah. So
anybody that's familiar with Rekka might recognize this, a Yagawa classic. But looking pretty good. I think.
Call him good bomb. You can swap the trace for options in the corner if he wants to, but that can be a little unreliable.
Yeah, he's feeling it now. I think he's gonna be just fine.
Yeah, with one life in stock, he should be able to make the end pretty easily.
Took a little bit of a weird hit there. There he goes. All right.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Wonderful.
First credit.
Player. Yeah, making it look easy.
Yeah, that was a very solid run. Then, which is in this game is just absolutely not marathon friendly. But yep.
Those last 2 bosses are infamous for destroying hopes and dreams. But no, CPS here making it look easy. Yeah, not worried at all at any point throughout the run. Very, very nice.
I don't know if I'm gonna jump back in voice or not, but yeah, when he said he was gonna run Battle Garegga live, I was like, you're very brave. As you know from firsthand experience, this game can be very scary.
It can be
I haven't even been brave enough to try and run this one live, but yeah, he just knocked it out of the park here.
Yeah, I mean it's always a fun time, both to play and to watch. So
yes,
this was a really special demonstration.
But yeah, for anybody that wants to play it, it's of course available for multitudes of sorts of emulation. It's also on Saturn, which has a pretty not 100% accurate port, but still pretty good. Some interesting extra options.
Saturn port is the best game EA made.
Yeah, and then of course there's the M2 ports on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One.
Yes, and those ports really are excellent. Certainly labors of love for a game that deserves it.
Yep, and then yeah, those of course you don't have to jump straight in on those PS4 ports. They have the super easy mode, which, as it sounds, makes things much easier, and then premium mode, which is kind of like an arrange, mixes things up a little bit, so you don't have to worry about some of the minutia, rank and dynamic difficulty and all that. Both very fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
You go ahead and swap over to Gun Frontier.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Thanks for having me, and what a wonderful run that was.
Yeah, awesome commentary. Thanks for joining us.
Guess it's gonna be time for me to join you then.
Yes, welcome M. Night, or we're going back in time.
Yes.
The game that inspired